Waiting. think I need therapy or just some more whiskey. I can't seem to understand how you do this to me. You've been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead. Saw you in the red dress. I can't seem to understand how you got all that finesse. Still been running in circles inside my head.
Hello and welcome back to the RSCast. It's the first time this season and it's a little bit different over here. I'm here in the kind of central seat. We've got Butter to my right and Kingsman to my left, and it is good to be back with you two.
It's beautiful to be here. Season 10 was over. We had our winners. Season 11. We've had pre-season. We've had the draft. Well, draft then pre-season. Week 1 league play has been finished, Kingsman, and boy, does it look good this week.
Does it look good indeed? New franchise, new season, as you've already mentioned, and things are already looking good. 10 times more competition this season, 10 times, and it's already looking like a very, very good start to what I anticipate to be a very exciting season.
It is always going to be a good season. It is every single season. Have we ever had a bad season here in the RSC? And it's the 11th one in a row. And I mean, we might as well not stall anymore. Let's go over to the prospect results. And whoever's taken the Glaciers Conference, feel free to start it off.
Oh, I have got you. We haven't got any 8 and O's of a team, but we do have Terra, the side of Yannick, going 7-1. First of all, they get a sweep onto Dwarfs. This was on stream, so if you were there, you saw it. And they signed a player literally 22 minutes before this series, and they still gave some domination on the field. But that's not all they did. They bring out a 3-1 victory over Obscurity as well, claiming their 7-1 week. Terra off to a beautiful start for their week 1 league play, but Jabatus as well, 7-1 as well. 3-1 onto Fearless Echo, a big result with that, and also a 4-0 sweep as well onto Obscurity. And just to add, because I already know Banana Pills are going to let me know in chat, they used a sub for all of week 1 and went 7-1. It's got to be the most impressive week out of all the prospect teams so far. But for the other two teams who have not been putting out that shift that they were looking for, Obscurity going 1-7, obviously getting swept by Jabatus, and then losing 3-1 as well to Terra. Obviously two very tough teams. It was not an easy week for them, but either way, they were only being able to find that one game. They're going to be finding more than that if they want to compete for a playoff spot in the future. But Kindling as well, 2-6, getting swept by Rogue and getting a 2-2 draw on to Dwarfs, only giving Dwarfs that 2-6 week as well. But Terra and Jabatus having a beautiful start to week 1.
Indeed. Some interesting results starting us off. But Kingsman, talk us about the Ignis tip.
Well, Ignis, talk about a close conference. You have got it. There is a mixture of good results here. To feature some of the 4-0s, we had 4 of them in this tier. You've had Hot Metal 4-0 Alta. Alta got 4-0 of their own then onto Trickery, and Limousine and Newborn decided to add to the action with a 4-0. But I'm not going to spoil anything. But these results in Ignis do sum up for a very exciting and a very, very tight league table going into week 1. A lot of 3-1s, only a few draws So there's a lot of mixed results around the bag.
Indeed, there is. However, we shall move on to the standings, this time in the Glaciers. But coming back to you, and how's it summed up after week 1?
Well, as we mentioned, no teams will be on 8 wins, but at the top you're going to have Terra and Juventus with 7 tied up, separated by that goal difference. But Rogue coming in just 1 game behind in 3rd place in that top 3 spot. The only teams above that 5-point benchmark. But going into 4th is going to be Fearless Echo with 4 points, tied with Tartarus and Palmists there, all on 4 points. Just a win or even a draw away from creeping up into those playoff spots. But in 7th is going to be Serene Taisho with 3 points. And then Dwarfs and Kindling tied up on 2. And at the bottom, they're not on 0, but it's going to be Obscurity with a 1 win. But despite losing 7 games, the goal difference, they've been keeping their games close, and it's not been that much of a separate difference. But either way, we don't see a team losing all 8 or winning all 8. So you can already tell it's looking close and competitive in Prospect in Glaciers.
Exactly that, but Obscurity, you see Kindling, you see Dwarves, well, gonna need to regain. It is only week 1, still loads of time to pick up the vital wins possible, but we see a lot closer conference. You mentioned in the results, Kingsman, but these are the standings in Ignis Prospect.
I did, and well, you talk about Glaciers being close and competitive. You have 4 teams on 6 wins. Cardinals, Hot Metal, Limousine, and Newborn, all separated by goal difference, all having a 6-2 week. And below them, you have Alta, who are one of the teams to get swept, but they do tie with Micah Faction on 4 wins, claiming 5th and 6th. 7th, then, the only team to stand alone, except from the team at the bottom, will be Trickery, who 3 and 5 going into week 2, and then Parasite and Caro make up 8th and 9th with 2 and 6. The Regain, as Buddha said, will be on, and Anubis sat at 1 and 7. They were one of the teams to get swept, obviously, but massive Regain. It's only week 1, and well, there's a lot that can be worked on for every side in this division.
Well, that is the standings in Ignis. A quadruple tie for first currently, but going over to the fixtures here in week 2, going ahead of us starting today. Buddha, tell us about the fixtures you like in Glaciers.
Well, it's only week number 2, so you could pick out all of them, but we've got to pick out the ones that are really going to separate those teams. And if you talk about Clash of the Titans, you've got Terror going up against Juventus. It's literally joint tied first going up against each other. It's definitely a big series to separate themselves, depending on their second series result. But look at all these other ones as well. You've got Dwarfs and Serene Taisho, both around that 7th, 8th position. That's a big matchup to separate themselves as well. And Obscurity, I mean, this is a big week for them. The only team down at the bottom with 1 win, playing Serene and the side of Tartarus. It's definitely not an easy week for them, but it's not the toughest. So Obscurity looking to regain here after losing both of their series. But other than that, all of the other series are going to be big ones, but those are my ones to watch for this week.
Some tasty fixtures happening over in Glaciers this week. But Kingsman, what are your ones to watch over in Ignis?
Well, over in Ignis, we have some clashes at the top and the bottom of the table. We see Limousine, who are in 3rd, take on Hot Metal. We did say 4 of those top teams were tied, and well, they play each other this week, and you have Caro and Parasite near the bottom. You've got a top team clash and a bottom team clash. Along with that, you have Newborn, who have Alta. Alta coming off of a mixed bag of results, getting swept and getting a sweep. So it'll be interesting to see how their form picks up in the next few days. But as Buddha said, all of these fixtures are crucial going into the first weeks. It really does divide these teams. But Potter, for the fixtures to watch in Ignis, those would be my choices.
Well, that is it for Prospect, recapping over week 1's antics. Moving over now into Challenger, going back to Buddha with the results in the Glaciers tier.
Here we go. We don't see 7-1 or 8-0, but we are going to see Oracles go 6-2. They get a 2-2 onto Spark to start things off. A pretty, respectable tie. No team to, take a full sweep against Spark. A pretty strong, hence their 4-4 week. But Oracles then go on to 4-0 sweep Fearless Delta. A statement made there from Oracles. I believe the games were close, but hey, Toe and Hunter Sam really connecting on that field. A 4-0 sweep, cleaning them up with that 6-2 week. But the next team that I've picked out as well is going to be Elves going 5-3. They get their 3-1 on to Redeem to make make that first win of their league play, to get the guns going straight away, get that confidence going. But going up against Fearless Delta, again, like Oracles, but they got a 2-2, but it was a well-deserved 2-2. You could say they should have took the series, but they did come back from being 2-0 down. So for Elves, that's a really good week for them, getting a win and a draw, going 5-3. But on the opposite side, it is going to be the two teams we have mentioned. Redeem going 2-6. Obviously, they did drop 3-1 to Elves, but losing 3-1 to Orcus as well. You could maybe say Redeem unit maybe expected to take a few more games here in this week, but they did have a little bit of a struggle going 2-6. But at least it wasn't 0-8. Same for Fearless Delta here as well, going 2-6 as well. Obviously getting swept by Oracles, 2-2 by Elves, but all the other results standing up as well. Quite a few ties. Only, I believe, 4 games weren't draws.
Only the one sweep there as well, going in favour of the Oracles. Similarly, over in Ignis Kingsman, only one sweep there as well, this time going in favour of Masai.
Correct, Masai able to start their season with a kick. 4-0 onto Shrine, dominating result for them. But we've pretty much equalled what happened in Glacy. We have, I think, 6 draws in Ignis Conference, showing how competitive Challenger is this season. It looks a lot more competitive than Prospect did, for sure, with a lot of draws across the field, with Feather picking up draws against Apprentice and Nezuko Gang. But one team that everyone talked massively, the story of last season, Primordial, well, they aren't off to the greatest start. 2-6, getting a 3-1 to Nezuko Gang and a 3-1 to Mischiefs. Not the greatest start for them, but there's loads of time left in the season. And, well, after a pretty equal Challenger to it seems, that is the results in Ignis.
Indeed, they are. Again, some very tasty results in Ignis. But Butter, back to you with the standings in Glacius after week 1.
No team won 2 series. In the top 3, they all won 1 and drew 1. At the top is going to be Oracles with that 6-2 record, followed up by Elves and Serene. Yamato tied in second with 5 wins for themselves. Goal difference separating them apart, but Orcus, Eclipse, Pardus, Neptunium, and Spark, we're talking 4th all the way to 8th, all tied up on 4 wins. This is where all of those draws really come into play in the Challenger tier, keeping all of these teams so close. I know it's only week 1, but this is 1 game difference to shift this massively. But under them, it is going to be Fearless Delta and Redeem in 9th and 10th on 2 wins. Obviously not too far away, but both teams not getting the week that they wanted, Redeem being the only team to drop both series in a loss. But it's looking close as always. It's looking like a strong start for Challenger in Glaciers.
Like you say, it's a brilliant way to start the season. It's only a little teaser for what is going to happen over the course of the remainder of it. But Kingsman, similar story over in Ignis this time in Challenger.
Well, very similar story indeed. You have one clear leader in Masai, who, same as Oracles really, they have 1 point game ahead, but as Buddha said, no team getting 2 wins this week. All sides getting either 1 win, 1 draw, 2 draws, or 2 losses. At the top, obviously, Masai, 6-2, a very nice start for them. But behind, you have the chasing pack of Mischief, Nezuko, and Apprentices, all only 1 game behind. And then, well, you have the land train all the way down. You go from Feather, Crusaders, Kadeho, I think that's how you say it, and Parthenae, all the way from 5th to 8th, all getting 2 draws this week, and all reminiscing their place from 5th to 8th, all looking to push towards the top. And, well, near the bottom, 2 games away, but it's only 2 games. You have Primordial and Shrine. Shrine, the only team to get swept in Ignis Challenger this week. But there is still chance for them, only week 1. Same with Primordial. Hopefully, for Asterix, they can show a bit of last season's form and make an absolute run up the table.
Well, as we transition over to the fixtures, might as well say now, if you see yourself on here, well, you will see yourself on here if you have scheduled your game. If you see yourself in the Stream Polls channel, go and vote, pick a number, any number, and the number you pick might have a chance at being on the RSC stream next week. But Buddha, take us away with the Glaciers fixtures.
See Spark and Neptunium, they're playing today, and that's actually a big matchup. 7th and 8th, they are one of the they're 2 of the 5 teams joint on 4 games. So that's going to be a big series for them to kind of maybe climb up the standings and separate them apart. But I think the majority of the games here is going to be all of those series where all the teams are on 4. For example, I believe we've got Eclipse playing Redeem. Obviously, Redeem not in that pack, but for Redeem, that's a big one there. And we've got Pardus, they're going to be playing along the side. Elves as well, only 1 game ahead of them. So Pardus, that's a big series for them there. But they also play Orcus, Pardus and Orcus in that middle of the pack of the standings, tied up with each other. So that's going to be a big series for them. But as always, you're going to get that top matchup. Elves versus Serene Yamato. That's really going to be the series to break that top 3 potential. And Oracles looking for a good week here to remain at the top, but they've got to play Serene Yamato, one of those teams below them. And I believe that other game will be the side of Redeem, so maybe looking for a really good week there from Oracles. But either way, all series are going to be ones to watch until league play carries on.
There are no real household names coming out just yet. Well, this time last season, everybody probably would have realised Primordial was something, but they hadn't really started to develop. No giants coming out just yet. But Kingsman, anything your eye has touched in Ignis going ahead into week 2?
Well, talk about breaking the ice at the top. You have Mischief, Nezuko. Both teams 5-3, second and third, huge matchup. But one team that is down the table that look to make a run also have an incredibly tough week. Parthenay have Apprentices, a side which everyone hypes up and is expected to do well. 5-3, and Parthenay also have the current leaders in Masai. So it is a real tough week for them, and it will really show if this Parthenay side is willing and is able to push up the top of the table. But down towards the bottom, you have Primordial who play Kadeho. That is going to be a matchup to really split the bottom teams up. 9th versus 7th. Obviously, Kadeho looking to push up the table, and Primordial looking to get away from the bottom and looking to maybe push away from Shrine. But like we're going to say in every tier, until there's a massive runaway team established, every game is a game to look out for.
Like you say, Primordial not wanting to be near the bottom. Obviously, they had that stellar season last time around, and were also predicted first in the power rankings, so that is not where they want to see themselves come the end of the season. However, we move over into Rival and Buddha, the Glaciers result.
Going into Rival, we come across the first 8-0 on the RSCast, and it's going to be Erebos. Yes, you heard me correct. It is a Might of Hades franchise team going 8-0 in week number 1. All credits deserved to the team and the management over there. First of all, starting off with a 4-0 sweep onto Resolve, claiming their first victory of the series, and then also doing it again onto Fearless Charlie, asserting dominance in the Glaciers Conference so far, not dropping a game. The question is, will they remain unbeaten in games in week number 2? Well, we'll find out soon. But the other team popping off as well is going to be Nightfall, the reigning champions. They come back in season 11, week 1, starting very strong. A 6-2 week for them, getting a 3-1 onto Fearless Charlie and a 3-1 onto Uranum as well. 2 kind of teams that, were solidified last season as a competition, but not too high. But either way, Nightfall making a statement to continue maybe, a potential second trophy in a row. But again, we've got 3 teams this time really popping up. I've chose out Norns as well, going 6-2. Another team going for it, a 3-1 onto Resolve, remaining Resolve in a 1-7 week, but also getting a 3-1 onto Serene Meiji as well. Serene Meiji, they've always been a team around, they're either at the top or they drop down, so maybe it's just a tough week for them, but either way, a great result for Norns. And then Resolve and Fearless Charlie, both going 1-7, obviously both getting swept by Erebos, and then Resolve losing 3-1 to Norns, and then Fearless Charlie losing 3-1 to Nightfall. Either way, it's a great start for some of these teams.
Yeah, a great start for Erebos, Nightfall and Norns in particular. But Kingsman, what happened over in Ignis this week?
Well, what happened in Ignis this week was the preseason champions continued their charge. Arena Tribe going at it again. They get a 4-0 on to Disorder. It is one of 2. Sentinels also getting a 4-0 onto Raiji, but those will be the only sweeps. Arena Tribe only managing to get a 2-2 onto Mirage, but they do get the same as Sentinels as well, who managed to get a draw in their other game. But a lot of 3-1s. Disorder not having the strongest week, getting 2-2 with Sanctum. They will sit 2-6 as it seems, and well, Montbéliard getting that 2-2 onto Sentinels. They got 2 draws this week, Montbéliard. There's a lot of draws around the field we do see here. Let me just count. We've got 4, 5, 7 draws here, 2 4-0s and 1 3-1s. So you have a very drawn conference here.
Indeed, we do. But Buddha, the first 8-0, pushing Erebos firmly towards the top of the Glacier standings. But tell us about the rest of the table.
Well, there's a first for everything. The other two tiers, they've been very close with draws and no 8-0 teams. Well, in Rival, Glaciers are shaking things up. Erebos up the top with 2 sweeps. 8-0 up, solidifying that first spot. 2 games ahead of second and third will be Nightfall and Naunt, also winning both of their series. The top 3 winning every series so far, but we're going to see Ember and Onka just a game behind in 4th and 5th, both having a win and a draw to themselves. They're still a respectable performance in their week 1, but in 6th place, tied up in 7th with Uranum, is going to be Serene Meiji in 3-5. Not a bad record for them. Still can push up in week number 2. But if we go a bit further down now, we see Mystics at 2 wins in 8th, then Fearless Charlie and Resolve down in 9th and 10th, 1 and 7. Those bottom 3 teams both losing their 2 series in week 1. They're going to be looking for a massive bounce back in week number 2. Otherwise, they're going to be starting to struggle for that climb.
Indeed, they are. They need to get off on the right footing. But Kingsman, tell us about Ignis this time.
Well, I'm sure you'll be happy to hear, Potter, as the Arena Tribe take first. I don't know how, because their goals scored and goals conceded are exactly the same as Sentinels. I don't think we've seen that one for a while in a week 1.
Alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order, I'm sure Potter's not complaining, but in the alphabetical order, Arena Tribe and Sentinels, they're your tied teams, exactly tied. That is very interesting. And then on 4, you have a massive run, 3rd through 7th. Sanctum, Mirage, Ash, Yoruba, and Montbelliard all getting draws this week. 2 draws apiece. And, well, Raiju, they did get a win, but they did get swept in one of their games. So that remains them in 8th. And at the bottom, you have Journeyman, who will join them. They didn't get a win, but they do cement a 1 and 3 loss and a draw. And Disorder will be sat firmly by themselves on the bottom, hoping for a regain. And, well, that is your standings for Rival Ignis.
Indeed, they are. However, moving back over to the fixtures this time in Rival, might as well touch on the stream poll again, because I know for a fact that Arena Tribe are there twice, so please go and vote for me so I can play on stream this time. But no, Butter, take us away in Glaciers for the fixtures.
All the beautiful fixtures. Obviously, Erebos looking to remain the throne up the top. Obviously, probably not their toughest week, but still a week where they've got to remain on form. They'll be playing the sides of Onka, and the other side would be Serene Meiji. Obviously, one team that's kind of in the bottom of the pack, but one a little bit higher up, both in the mid-table. But, you know, probably looking for a good positive week there. But the biggest one for the biggest team here is Resolve. You know, this is their bounce back week, and they've got to play Ember, who are in that 4th place position. And then they also have to play Nightfall as well, who are, you know, they're reigning champions. They're in 2nd place. So Resolve have got a really tough week, but if they can even pull out a positive week here, that'd be a great performance from them, showing that, you know, they're going to make that climb eventually as long as they keep that consistency. But other than that, you're going to be looking at all the mid-table games that, you know, really affect that shift in the midfield. Obviously, Uranum versus Mystics, that's 7th versus 8th. Just 1 game difference, so a big game to watch out. But, you know, as we say time and time again, you know, we just like to, you know, make it known it's only week 1 that's finished. Week 2, every series still counts. Anything can happen in standings. So, you know, we'll see how it shakes up.
Well, we might as well say that the Erebos team have dropped a game. They've
Oh,
won 3-1
hey.
overall against Serene Nara, but they have dropped a singular game, meaning their unbeaten record is no more.
Oh, is that the Master team?
That's Master.
That's Master.
Oh, Master, that's a real shame.
Rival still unbeaten. I'm telling you.
Erebos,
Rival's still
Erebos
unbeaten.
versus
There we
Serene
go.
Nara.
There we go. I
Honestly.
mean, the question now is, are Erebos going to drop a game? There we go. However, Kingsman, the Ignis Conference.
Well, the Ignis Conference sees some interesting games as well, with Arena Tribe having a big week ahead of them, as well as Sentinels. Sentinels face a struggling Disorder side. They'll be looking to pick up games there, as well as a Mirage side, who will be looking for their first win. Whereas Arena Tribe, they face Ash, another side, with 2 draws, and they also face Yoruba with 2 draws. So, is that 2 teams to hold Arena Tribe to a draw? Only time will tell. And, well, along with that, you have Disorder playing Raiju in the standings, 8th versus 10th. and you have Journeyman Yoruba. So a lot of the lower to higher end fixtures this week. That will really show which teams can break away here.
Indeed, it will, and we're only going to be able to find out once these matches start getting played. However, back to the results. This time in Elite, the next tier on our road to Master, but the Glaciers Conference.
Oh, finally something positive about Fearless. Starting off in the Elite tier. I have picked up Fearless Bravo. I got to. I'm not being biased, okay? I've had to put up with a lot of negative today, okay? But Fearless Bravo, they go 6-2. Starting off the week against Profits. I mean, by power rankings, that's first versus second. Two very expected teams to, probably go to playoffs. But a 2-2, it was a great series to watch on stream. Bravo went 2-0 up. But Profits, oh my. Wolfie brought out the Dominus and said, no, we are not losing. And then they went on to sweep Darkness as well to make that 6-2 week. But Resonant, they're going 6-2 as well. They get a 2-2 onto Thanatos. So maybe this team's not 8-0 in Elite, but still, it's a decent result. And then they go to sweep Serena Zucchi as well, making Resonant go 6-2 up in that top two that we'll see soon later on. But Serena Zucchi, a 1-7 start to their season, obviously losing 3-1 to Darkness and then that sweep to Resonant. Probably not the start that they wanted, but the last team I've picked out is an interesting one, Tigris. They had such a tough week 1 matchup. They had to play Profits and Blaze, and they go 2-6, losing 3-1 to both. Tigris, this is definitely going to be a team that, at the beginning of league play, it looks rough, but I can tell you this. -1 goal difference, going 2-6 against two talented teams. Tigris is a team to watch on the rise, but they go 2-6 against Profits and Blaze.
Yeah, some really, really close games coming through there. Doesn't seem like there was many close games over in the Incredus Conference, however.
Well, you could say that. 4-0s everywhere. Andrew Bladesmiths, Anarchy Deception, Vanguard Scorch, that is to name a few. But one result I think which stood out to everyone, Vanguard sweeping Megumin Cult. I mean, a lot of the players from Vanguards I hadn't heard of last season, in Elite at least, but, well, they sweep Form and they sweep the remaining champions team. Megumin Cult sent back, but Megumin did recover with a 3-1 onto Temple. And, well, Scorch not having, from what I see, the Great Sweep being swept twice. And, well, yeah, as you said, Potter, not very close at all. Only 4 draws total. And Zulu, oh, sorry, not 4 draws, 2 draws total. What am I talking about? But Zulu claiming them both. So they are clearly a very draw-prone team.
Indeed, they are. But let's see how they affected the standings. But Glaciers Elite.
At the top, tied for that first spot, is going to be Fearless Bravo with Resonant with their 6-2 week. Just 1 goal difference separating them two apart until they head-to-head later in the season if they remain top 2. But in 3rd and 4th, you're going to see Holdra and tied going into that top 3 spot, both going 5-3. Again, goal difference separating them apart, but all of those teams getting a win and a draw. Every team in the top 5 won a series and drew a series. Following up from Blaze, it's going to be Profits going 5-3. Obviously, an average tough week for them, so it's a good spot for them to be sitting at in that 5th spot. But 6th, this is where the win percentage starts to go to that mid area. Thanatos are going to be in that 6th spot, not losing a series. They do tie both with a positive goal difference, so it is looking up for Thanatos heading into week 2. But following them will be Darkness going 3-5 with a win and a loss. Tied up there with Saturnia going 3-5 as well. But in your 9th and 10th spot, it's going to be Tigris in 9th with 2, and Serena Azuchi going 1-7. But I'm telling you, Tigris, I expect to see them climbing next week.
Still extremely close, and I believe we've seen a pattern emerging, and albeit because it is only week 1, nobody's going to be far towards the bottom, no one's going to be reaching away at the top. But Kingsman, 8-0 team again, this time the Vanguards, the kind of underdogs coming into the season.
Definitely underdogs, and they go in 8-0. They go and show everyone, right, we're here to play, but Andrew only dropping 1 game behind them. They'll be creeping around with a plus 17 goal difference, only conceding 7 goals. That's less than a goal a game. I mean, that is impressive. That is a stat line to behold. But 8-7, Vanguards and Andrew, those are teams to watch out for. But behind them, we have Anarchy, who will be chilling on 6 wins here. And then behind them, you have a bit of a train from 4th to 6th. You go from Bladesmiths, who were on the receiving end and giving end of a sweep. Same with Deception and Zulu, who picked up 2 draws. So you can get a sweep, but then maybe not even a sweep. I might be wrong here. Never mind. My maths is dumb, but Zulu picking up 2 draws in this, and Megumin obviously they did get swept. I can confirm that. They pick up a 3-1 and remain in 7th. And Embry and Temple 2 and 6 apiece. They'll be looking to climb. And well, Potter, we see our first 0-8 in Scorch preseason finalists, but the season not looking too good for them to start off with.
Yeah, no, not at all. It seems as if they changed up their entire roster or had roster issues through the entirety of preseason, got them to the final. However, doesn't look like they're going much further after that. But the fixtures, are Scorch going to be able to turn it around? We'll find out when we get towards this season. Might as well move to master results for now, and then we can move back to the elite fixtures afterwards. But master Glaciers.
Oh, sweet, sweet master. Starting off Inferno, going 6-2. They get a 4-0 sweep onto Serene Nara, starting off pretty strong there. A 4-0 victory. You can't complain at that. But also, they had this series on stream, getting a 2-2 draw onto Fearless Alpha. I could probably admit here, they got robbed there. They should have won that 3-1. But they get a 2-2 draw, going 6-2. Inferno off to a great start for their week 1. I think that was one of the teams that I think many people predicted them to start off that strong, but they've proved people wrong. And the other team I picked are going 6-2. I can't lie, Kingsman. I feel like I think it's going to be my first butcher of a team name. Is it Draugar? Draugar, okay. See, there we go, we've had it. You know, classic Buddha on RSCast, we needed that. Draugar going 6-2 as well. They get their 3-1 onto Messias, and then also a 3-1 onto Fearless Alpha as well, making them a 6-2 week. A brilliant start for that roster. I know they're very happy about that one, but converting onto the opposite side, we now have 5 teams going the exact same record. Now, I'm not going to go through all the results. I'll probably be here for a long time, but we had Messias, Radiant, Fearless Alpha, Leo, and Serene Nara all going 3-5. What? I know a lot of tiers get a lot of draws, but the fact that 5 teams have gone that record without 2 draws, it just blows my mind. But yeah, that's what we've had in Glaciers.
Well, that is absolutely disgusting. Kingsman.
Well, we can't even get onto the standings, and Buddha's already continuing to talk about Glaciers, but oh well, never mind at least, because if we head on over to Ignis, you'll see that you have 1 sweep in Illusionarius Legion. Now that is a result to behold, if anything. Illusion getting that 4-0 would be massive for them, but they do then and go get beaten by Phoenix, who pick up 2 3-1s this week in a 3-1 on Fenrir and a 3-1 onto Illusion. A good set of results for them will leave them doing well, and along with them, you'll see Dogon, who gets 3-1 onto Haven, and also a 3-1 onto Severance. So all round a massive week, and only got 2 draws in it.
Only the 2 draws again. It shows how teams are starting to dominate. It's only the first week, like we keep mentioning, and that's going to be the reoccurring theme throughout the entirety of this first cast.
Are you here? That would help.
There
we go.
Right. I was speaking on the stream, but I had my Discord muted. It's fine. Everything picked up. However, but no, might as well just reiterate for you guys here. Again, it shows how some teams are starting to dominate, but it is only week 1. The reoccurring theme is the fact that it is only week 1, and no one's gonna really push away and not be catchable at this point in the season. But Glaciers, we might as well look over the standings. We practically know them already due to Buddha's rant, but this time we can pull the graphic up on screen and Buddha can properly talk about them.
Hey yo, nothing wrong with the Buddha rant, okay? Anyway, we got the standings now. As I see at the top, Inferno, and I've already forgot it. Is it Draugr, right? Draugr? Dragon? You know what, I'll call them
Draugr.
VK. Draugr, yeah, I'll try to remember that. But Draugr, the only team to win both series in this conference, but they're in second, not going to be in that first spot. But then followed is going to be Hades going 5-3 with their win and loss. But in fourth is going to be IOV getting themselves with 2 draws as well. A negative goal difference, maybe not too comfortable. But in the top 4, and it's going to be Abyss just behind them in that 4-win spot as well. But in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. all going 3-5, as I mentioned. Messias, Radiant, Fearless Alpha, Leo, and Serene Nara. But none of the goal difference look too shaky, so it's, it is proving that the games have been close. The series have been hard fought, no matter the results. But Master Glaciers looking ever so close, and this might be the only conference where we might see 3 wins at the bottom. I could be wrong, but it's pretty much one of them that should be up there.
That is an interesting take, and this is the definition of, I suppose, as close as it could really get. Yes, you can have falls all down the board if the results went the right way, but this is not something we see very often, with pretty much every single team being within a win of each other, and that is absolutely astounding to see after week 1. However, Kingsman, a somewhat similar story over in Ignis.
Yeah, Ignis does have the similar story, with Dogon and Phoenix both sitting on the 6-2, having good weeks for themselves, good goal differences, but neither of them picking up sweeps, and the only team to pick up a sweep is creeping behind them in Illusion. 5-3 for them, and then you have a list from 4 to 6. You go Haven, Fenrir, and Severance, all being 4-4, all getting a win and a loss. And then behind them, you have Gladiators, Infinity, Heck, all with a draw and a loss. It's so good to see these symmetric results. This shows how close it is. And, well, also a draw at the loss at the bottom for Rias Legion, but they did get swept, which will leave them on rock bottom.
Yeah, Rias Legion not the position we thought they would have been in, being predicted as the top of Glaciers and finding themselves not winning a series yet. But again, it is only week 1. They've still got time to push up the standings. And are they going to be able to regain with any of the fixtures in the oncoming week? We'll speak to Kingsman after we've spoken to Buddha about Glaciers.
Week 1 has commenced, but week 2, this is where teams are going to show themselves. Inferno looks like a comfortable week for them. Nothing too challenging for them, just going off numbers by itself in week 1. But for the other sides, for the other likes, obviously we've got to see teams bounce back, especially in that bottom section. Obviously Messias and Radiant, they've got some big matchups. We've got Radiant going up against Inferno. It's going to be a tough series for them. We've got Messias going up against Abyss. 1 win difference to really separate kind of that bottom 5 breaking in to that top half. So it's going to be a big series for them. We've also got Iovi. They got a couple of big matchups here. Obviously Leo, obviously a lower table side there, but also going up against Hades. Again, that's a 3rd and 4th place team really, looking to face up there. Obviously, every series always is a big one to watch, but Radiant, they've got a really, really tough week playing 1st and 2nd. So, Radiant, best of luck to you.
Are they going to be able to perform though? Well, they're going to really have to should they want to pick up a result. But Kingsman, the Ignis Conference.
Ignis Conference has some games for us. Tonight you have some massive games. Heck versus Rias Legion, 9th versus 10th. One team looking to sink the other lower down. And Haven versus Severance, both team 4-4. One looking to establish themselves as a play-in team. But throughout the week, there are some huge fixtures. You have Infinity Illusion, a bit of a top table to bottom table clash, but both teams looking for good results to push them further up. You have Heck again with Phoenix. Phoenix having quite a tough week and quite a crucial week in Heck and Dogon. Obviously, Dogon Phoenix, that will be the massive game. Both teams on 6-2. Which team was going to establish them as the top seed? Well, we'll find out on the 10th. And that is your fixtures to look out for Master.
And we might as well take a look back over to Elite now that I do have the graphics sorted. But speak to us about the fixtures over in Glaciers.
Just realised something. Obviously, I said Tigris, expect them to be on the rise. They had a tough week number 1. Well, they've got a tough week number 2 as well. They play Fearless Bravo and Holdra. I mean, for Tigris, you could see this as a good sign. They're playing top teams out the way at the beginning, so, you might see them in the future on the rise. But either way, Tigris, a really, really tough week for them. Even if they go positive, that's going to be good for them. Serena Zucchi as well, probably not the best week that they want. They got to play along the side of Profits, a very talented team, and also playing Blaze as well. So Tigris and Serena Zucchi, in a very tough spot for this week. So maybe they look to regain, maybe not. But for your top-sided teams, they're looking, to cement themselves in that top 3 spot. Obviously, Blaze, they got that one matchup, but also playing Fearless Bravo as well. So for Blaze and Fearless, that's to really cement themselves up there. And obviously, Holdra, other than Tigris, they will be playing the other side, I believe, if my eyesight is correct. Resident, that's it. For Resident and Holdra, second and third. A lot of big matchups. Well, it is your team, Kingsman. But there's a lot of, I'd say there's a lot of crucial matchups in Glaciers for Elite.
Indeed, there is. However, we are going to be taking a little bit of a slight...
Potter's muted himself on Discord
He's
again.
done it again.
I've done it again. I need to sort the keyboard. Don't worry about it. It's a work in progress. It's a first stream. Things will get better over the course of the season. It is absolutely nothing to worry about. But we might as well take a look at the left-hand side of the screen and realise it's not going to be Clip of the Week this time around. And it is, in fact, going to be the weekly awards. So, I mean, any final remarks about the recap, guys?
Well, Master Ignis, we don't know who's playing Kingman, so I say we FF all of those,
Yeah, and Elite Ignis, of course.
Jokes aside, either way, it's been a great week 1. Results have shown that season by season, we think, it's at the top for how competitive it is, but somehow we get proven wrong and it just improves and improves. The competitiveness, the quality just goes up and up, and, every tier is really showing that so far.
It's exactly that. However, I believe I have missed something. I have been corrected within the chat, so we might as well head over to the franchise standings, and we're going to start with the bottom, and then after franchise standings we'll go straight into the weekly awards. So might as well start off at the bottom, and I mean, who wants to take us away with looking at Lunar Esports?
I'll take the defeat here. Fearless Esports back at the bottom half again since season 6. It's amazing. But starting off in 20th, it's going to be Lunar Esports with 14 wins. But it's only week 1, so anything can shift. But you got to start somewhere in 19th. It is going to be Sanctuary with 15, tied there with Team Serene there in 18th place. Just one series in a tier could shake things up, massively for any team. But Symbiotes and Fearless Esports, both franchises who finished top 5 last season, they're going to be in your bottom 5 for this first week at 16 wins. And then Green Phoenix, a new franchise coming in 15th on 17 wins, looking for, probably not the worst start, but it's not the best that they're looking for. But Chrome Research as well, coming in with Green Phoenix at 14th with 18, but above them is Shadow Esports, tied with the 18th spot, 18 wins as well. But Waifu Fan Club in 12th with a 20, alongside with Visionary. They may be in this bottom half, but they're still ever so close from reaching to that top 10.
Well, Kingsman, you can take the honours of proving that although the franchise does not believe in it, Jesus does exist, because Might of Hades have found themselves not just in the top half, but in second place.
I have one word for that, and it's just how Senji has worked miracles. He's clearly got someone on his side, as they find themselves somehow in second place. But it's only week 1, Senji. Don't be celebrating yet. Don't get the drinks out. But we'll start back 10th, 9th, and 8th. Occupied by Systema Solaris, Panthera, and Illusory. A very established franchise in Systema, a quite newish franchise, but a good franchise and established in Panthera, and a new franchise to RSC in Illusory. So that shows it doesn't matter how new you are, you can still pick up good teams. Then you've got Ignite and Shaman. Another new franchise, well, this season is obviously a returning franchise, but you get the point. 7th and 6th will be Shaman and Ignite. 5th in Ox Gaming, and they will be occupied by the Forge and Valkyrie Knights for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Can't lie, I will be proud that we're in 3rd, but who knows? The season's only in week 1, as I said to Senji. But Senji and Might of Hades, they do find themselves in second place. Obviously, Erebos helping massively to that, getting that 8-0 week, and obviously they look to push on. But Fort Templar will be taking that first place spot with a 2-win lead. Obviously, Vanguard's helping massively to that, and Sentinels doing bits for them. It shows what a good start to the season is for them.
Indeed it is. And speaking of a good start to the season, we're going to head over to the players of the week. I mean, Buddha, start us off with the main people in Prospect.
Well, week one league play has been underway, but your MVP is going to be Hyvis from the Fort Templar franchise with 521 points per game, followed up by Abdul and Boro. But your finisher is going to be Hyvis again, goals per game, almost 2, but hits 1.88 goals per game. And your striker with that shooting percentage is going to be Postula 98 with 58.33%. Monkey Bob and Superior almost taken that one away, but your playmaker is going to be Murakonda from the free agents, 1.5 assists per game. So, you know, franchises, GMs, if you need a prospect FA, well, you've got your playmaker right there, but your saviour is going to be Strike on YT from the Valkyrie Knights franchise, 2.43 saves per game, making sure that solid brick wall is there for the prospect here.
As I'll say now, Murakonda has been picked up by a franchise, so no poaching going on there. Murakonda officially
Great signing.
To Shadow Esports, but Kingsman, the Challenger Players of the Week.
Yeah, we'll just ignore that little leak and we go on to the Challenger Players of the Week. You have Mesmerize, who is your MVP, the only person in the tier to pick up 500 plus points per game. And your finisher will be Rowlinator for Illusory, 2.25 goals. And your striker will be Wyro55, 60.87. And your playmaker for the Luna Esports side will be Aizos with 2 assists a game. That is amazing. And even better, your saviour, again, we found out how he's got his points. It's going to be Mesmerized. 2.75 saves a game. I mean, that's a lot of saves.
That is, in fact, a lot of... That's an insane amount of saves. I don't know how somebody can do that. But no, we might as well see if anybody can beat that over in the rival tier. But tell us about the people on the scores on the doors, I suppose you could say, the players on the podium.
Oh, I got you. MVP. It's the one and only. It's going to be Mobs on the Illusory franchise. 497 points per game, almost close to the big 500. But your finisher from the Sanctum roster is going to be Luke with 1.63 goals per game, racking up those goals for the side. But your striker from the 8-0 side is going to be Lynx from the Might of Hades, Erebos, 53.85% shooting accuracy. But your playmaker is going to be the side from Arena Tribe, 385 MS with 1.25 assists per game. Mythics as well, almost coming in first, but it's going to be 385 MS with it. But your saviour, it's going to be Marbs yet again. He returns to the board, 2.75 saves per game. Well, we talk about a lot of saves. They keep coming in. The question is, does Elite top it, or is Rival just better?
Well, we're going to have to wait and see, but Marbs had an incredible series against me. That guy has improved so much since the last time I played with him. But Kingsman, has anything changed within Elite?
A lot has changed. Reptic will be your MVP for the week. I also see Halo up there. 2 Vanguards players. We'll ignore Pesky. He doesn't matter. It's fine. I know Reptic will also pick up your finisher with 1.63 Jord with Dekai. So that could have gone either way. And while you have a 3-way tie for the striker, Josh, Dozy, and Trax, all with 50% shooting. And your playmaker will be Fane, a very, very well-known name within RSC, with 1.75 assists per game. And your saviour, the man, the myth, the legend, it will be Sato with 2.75. And that is 3 tiers with 2.75 average saves. How do they do it? I guess we'll just have to keep asking.
Indeed, we will. But as we move on to Master, might as well thank Conflict, the Master Player, for that subscription to the RSC channel. But Butter, the final one in Master this week.
Master tier MVP from Serene Nara Jazz, 503 points per game. The only player in the tier to go past that 500 mark. But your finisher is going to be Sazon from that Ignite Esports Master roster, 1.75 goals per game. Definitely came in clutch for that series on stream. But your striker is going to be Genzo with 75% shooting accuracy. Sazon almost taken that award as well. But your playmaker, it's going to be Jazz making a return with a 1.75 assists per game, being that playmaker and MVP for his roster. But the saviour, it's going to be Sido. It's not going to be 2.75, but it is going to be 2.5 saves from himself, getting that saviour in week 1 for the Master tier.
So as we come back
And apparently the number for saves is 2.75. So if we could
Okay.
just, keep repeating that for next week and the week after, yeah, why not? Just keep it like that. But, awards well deserved. Those are your week 1 players to perform and stand out. So if you're playing against any of them in week 2, you better watch out.
Bro's still muted.
There's nobody else. There's nobody else. There's nobody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how about that for some clips of last week?
Well, I will say I did see Pesky on there twice. I did say he does nothing, but apparently he does do something. He will end up on there twice, but never mind. It was all great shots. That's why they deserve to be on Clip of the Week. And well, very interesting. All very good shots, aren't they, Buddha?
Oh yeah, I mean, you had Superior and Rage just both scoring a clip literally in the first 10 seconds of their game. So, they just jumped in and said, yeah, I've had my free play warm up, I'm ready to go, and they just hit a clip straight up. I hope they won the game because, if you hit a clip, you got to win the game. But as always, the competition for Clip of the Week, it's always tough, and it's looking tough.
Indeed, it is. It's always so good every season. What a way, again, to start off the season, to start off with week number 1 with just some clips of that. I mean, Kingsman, tell us which one was your favourite.
Well, I'll be honest, I witnessed 2 of them in game. So I think both of those shots were in the same series against Eternia. But my favourite personally was the Pesky corner read because I got to see the full reaction afterwards. It was a lovely goal, read off the corner. And well, Pesky is going to win it, but for which shot, I guess we'll never know to this day. But all-round good ceiling shot from Robbo, who under Superior Stormer. Embo with a nice shot, and Raids also, not Rapids. I don't... Rapids making his way onto there, unless I am dumb. But very good shot. My favourite had to be Pesky. Maybe a bit of bias because he's on my team, but yeah, that had to be my favourite.
Indeed, it did. But going from, I suppose, in terms of Pesky, going from bad to worse, with the fail of the week coming up next, I mean, why don't we get into it?
There's nobody else. Let me stay with you.
And that was awkward, I suppose we can say. I mean, there was one way to put your team down, and there were 2 different ways to make sure your team doesn't go anywhere near up.
Week 1 as well. It's your week to start things off, get things going. I mean, at least you're making content, but probably not the way you expected it to. I mean, some beautiful goals, just not in the correct net, unfortunately.
Yeah, but You can't always score in the correct net. I'm sure Strike will tell you that. He is famous for fail of the week, but it does happen. It's week 1, but a lot time of the season to go. And well, I must ask both of you, what was the biggest fail you think out of the 3 this week?
There was only one winner. There was
Yeah, sure.
there was
That's
only one
easy.
winner. It's got how did he manage that? That is the question. There was one. It was like you think it's gonna go in from the angle, but no, psych. He's gonna ground double tap it into his own net, and yeah, I think I can see the votes surging up. It's got to be going to Shires.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just an easy declared winner. You know, it gets a nice angle. Teammate's like, "Oh, it's fine, I've got you, saved you." And Shires like, "Nah, it's alright, I've got this." Boom, into his own net. And it is Shires who won it, which is deserved. Enjoy the stinky roll.
Well, going from fail of the week, we might as well lighten things back up. We go from fail of the week to team of the week, and Butter. These are the people who stood out in their respective tiers for week 1.
Week 1 team of the week from the prospect tier, from the Cardinals side, is going to be High Viz. He's been here for a few seasons, but this is why he's team of the week. He shows that consistency. But Wyro55 from the Masai roster in the Challenger tier is going to be your player from that tier, but from the rival tier, from Erebos, the side that went 8-0, is going to be Slimy in that Dominus, representing that colour as well for my Hades, but in the elite tier from Vanguard, it's going to be Reptic. He was your MVP for the weekly awards, and that's why he's on Team of the Week as well. But in the Master tier, from the team that, you know, some people didn't have too much expectations from, but they proved everyone wrong. 6-2 week, and Crisps is going to be your player from that side, from the Valkyrie Knights franchise. This is your Team of the Week for Week 1 League play, and oh my, some very, very talented players.
And then Kingsman. I mean, we're going to hop into the DeLorean, go back a little bit in time, and you can talk us through the Team of the Week for preseason.
Preseason might seem a few years ago, but you have Team of the Week for preseason in prospect. Is going to be Abdul from the Limousine roster, making it all the way. And in Challenger, it will be DPF. That is a familiar name. And along in Rival, it will be 385 MS. Well, and Fearless finally taking a W. Jack is going to be getting Team of the Week for Elite. And he did win preseason along with that. So what can you say? And well, Jazz, he will be your master Team of the Week for preseason. So that is the preseason Team of the Week.
So, Buddha, me and you can unite in the fact that Kingsman did not have a player win preseason Team of the Week, and that can be our talking point from every single RSCast from now on.
I mean, we have that, but he could just franchise standings check us, as, you know, first season with that franchise. It goes both ways, unfortunately. But either way, you're fine, Potter. You know, you're in that mid-table range. However, me, well, you know, we always joke how, you know, Senji would flip the table, and he has literally done that. He's put Hades up the top and Symbiote and Fearless at the bottom. So, well done, Senji. Well done.
Well, we are coming into a little bit of a close for the RSCast. I mean, 2 more segments to go, and why don't we just roll the merch trailer and show everybody the elite apparel that we've got to offer. Well, I mean, it's been a while since we've got to see that video over here, and they still look as crisp as ever. And I mean, Kingsman joked about it in, well, just a second ago. I mean, it's something he's gonna order for Christmas, and I mean, why wouldn't he?
Yeah. Exactly. When the merch looks as clean as it does, you can get something ordered just in time. Well, maybe not in time for Christmas. I did order my Wife Hades thing maybe a few months ago, and it arrived a few days ago to Senji's absolute delight. But they are fire, and it is 100% worth the wait. They look absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 2022 collection as well, so you haven't got long to get that specific collection, you know. I'd assume there'll be a 2023 collection, so, you know, if you want something that's limited that may not come out again, it's definitely a chance to get it, especially with Christmas coming around the corner as well, and if you have a birthday in December as well, then you can get that as well. But very, very nice product. It looks very nice. It's, you know, it's going on my little Santa's list for this year.
Well. Has anybody got any final remarks? Kingsman, have you got anything you want to say before we head towards the social and sponsors part of the RSCast?
Not really, except maybe just a small roundup, except how competitive it is, how good the merch looks, and how good this season is going to be overall. Words can't describe it.
No, they cannot. And I'm currently having a little bit of issue with the actual graphic behind the scenes. However, I can still talk through the social sponsors part of it. So, I mean, you can still see us everywhere on social media, RSC_EU on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. But YouTube, however, is just RSCU without the underscore. But looking at our beautiful new sponsors towards the league, it is Sanctuary, Shaman, Badass, Dead Dinosaur, Gamers Apparel, and HyperX. I mean, it is great to have these guys on board for Season 11, and I mean, what a contribution they've made towards the league.
I mean, it's a great contribution. You know, it's recognizable people as well that you know from the RFC communities, you know, helping to chip in for this league. You know, that's how you know the community and the league is only going up and up, and the chemistry of just players, you know, coming together into a game that they love. You know, it's just amazing to see. You know, it's a big thanks to them, you know, to come in, help in, and support the league here. And yeah, it's just an amazing thing to have. And this is why the RSC is such a good, well-run league, and this is why we love to play it. You know, season in and season out, win or lose, we're still here, and well, that's why I'm still here with, you know, with no trophy. So yeah, it's fine, but it's fine. But either way, it's been a great week, number one, and I'm pretty excited to see how week 2 comes up. But I'll finally say, actually, because we'll probably get, you know, you gotta let the people know. Stream polls. Make sure you go vote for the games you want to see on stream. If you go to the top of the server, you'll see the channel stream polls and schedule. You'll see it right there. Just react with, you know, the correct emoji of the number for which games you want to see on the stream for week number 2.
And with that, that is pretty much all we have to offer for week 1 of the RSCast. Kingsman, any final words?
Not really. I think Buddha summed it up perfectly. Stream polls, as always, being crucial. And, well, as perfect as Buddha is, I have no more to say.
Well, it is great to be back alongside you guys. Kingsman, Buddha, it's been a pleasure as always. However, we will be back with you next week with us three yet again for hopefully the remainder of the season. I mean, I've been partnered with these pair, and we'll see you next week for some more RSCast.
See you later.